Okay, what's he in? Feet Dry Hornet. Winner, Feet Dry Hornet. Challenger, Feet Dry. Where is it? M2K. Right, I'm just going to quickly get my music going, and then we should be good. Oh, the fucking perspective's off to the side again. Why? Why do you do this? There we go, close enough. There we go. It's doing that thing where my camera's skewed off, but I can live with it.
Oh, you want to reconnect?
No, it's all good. It's only by a couple degrees, so I'll just kind of look right and center it.
Let me know when you're in and loaded up and I'll unpause it.
I'm good to go.
Good. Alright.
That's glitched, I think.
Wind and barrage. And MiG.
Burned too much energy. I probably shouldn't have actually used the brake there. That's alright, we've got a decent setup here. Actually lost him there. Oh shit, he's right behind me. Ah! Good shot. Ready when you are.
Ready?
Oh, I already spawned in. My bad. I'll respawn real quick. Yep, ready.
Oh, I'm in an F5. God damn it. Chose the wrong slot.
goats. There he is.
Nice one. Bought it. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Spawning.
I think the gun mode still works, just the lights don't come on for it.
Oh, right.
Which
I
is
never
weird.
even fucking gun mode.
The fucking burst mode is shit, I hate it. Like, I understand why it's there, because this thing has so little ammo, but it's such a pain.
Yep.
There's like a really long delay between trigger presses on it. Jesus. It might be the altitude, but this thing is not handling anything like I'm used to.
Might be, how much fuel's in it? I don't think it's full.
I think it should be set to half on this mission, but I'm pretty sure it's half on JDF as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, ready when you are.
Yeah, I've got about 5,400 pounds this morning. So I think I just put half for everything except the MiG-29 and the F5 and stuff.
You know what, I reckon it's the air density, because I rarely come up this high when I'm dogfighting. It's not something I'm really used to, because I usually stay so low. But if I try and pull here like I do down in the weeds, I just instantly shed all my speed and start stalling out like that. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go low. We're going to try and drag him down with us. So we'll keep an eye on him, make sure I don't look him too close. Oh shit, he's right there. Oh, the snapshot. Quite happy with that one. Now I just gotta get the power back on. I think I still had the brake out there without realizing. I keep doing that. Alright, he's gonna try for a head-on, which I don't want. I'm gonna go around. still feels really draggy compared to normal, I'm not sure why. I stalled.
Oh, yeah.
What's the fuel, internal full fuel loading rush?
6 or 7?
Yeah, okay. It'd be about half then.
I think it is.
Alright, I'm ready to go. Pretty proud of that snapshot though.
Yeah, it's good. Did not think you'd get your nose up on me.
I barely even saw you, I just saw something in front of me and instinctively pulled the trigger. Where's he gone? He was above me somewhere. Let's see him. Oh, there we go. So I've actually had a chance to get my speed up here as well, which helps enormously. Not really closing the gap though. There we go, we close the distance. Tagged him. Don't think I really did much damage, I think that just kind of nicked the edge of his wing. Oh, bad move, bad move!
Nice one.
He just disappeared on me. He was right there and he just fucking vanished. Something, DCS spotting broken. Well, when you can't see someone, assume they're behind you. There he is. I think that's him, or is that me? There's a smoke trail there for a moment. I was watching you, and you just, like, phased out of existence totally. Oh, shit.
Good old,
Oh, it was like, you went from a grey speck to nothing.
Ready?
Yep.
On it.
Oh, there he is. That was lucky. He's doing a lot of looping. He's trying to just swoop down on me. And it is kind of working out for him. He got me. Good shot.
Damn. It's like a stall battle, that one. Alright, got it.
I'm so used to the guys on JDF that fly the Hornet that I forget what it's like to fight against someone that actually knows how to turn in it. Oh shit, should have gone into burner.
Some good lag.
I went in too late, I'm gonna stall out here. But a decent setup here for a quick snap. If I can get the nose around. No, not quite. Fix my damn head position. got me on the edge of a stall here. I'm not going to be able to pull inside him, so I'm going to turn back the other way. And see if I can force an overshoot without killing myself, preferably. Just gonna figure out where he ended up. There he is. He's going to turn across my front again. But I just don't have the speed here I need to... There we go. Power, 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 power! Cheeky attempt, but didn't have enough energy. Controls were too mushy for that shot. Now we're pulling onto him. Now we're doing it. Just gotta be careful of the trees. Oof. Wasn't quite pulling as hard as I should have been there to get the nose on him. It's okay, we can make up for it here as he crosses again. Fuck. Stall. I'm close, but I'm not quite there. And this goes back to a question that was asked yesterday of whether the Mirage can outturn the Hornet. No, it can't. Not when the Hornet knows how to turn. Like, against the average player on JDF I can do it, because they just don't know what they're doing, but against Torni or Tom, because they know the aircraft, it's not an option. I can't win a turn fight with them, especially at low speed. Well, usually not. I did have a couple chances at Torni there, which I fucked up. Might get another here. No. No. She's rolling. I'm pretty much on the edge of a stall, and I think I took some pretty bad damage there. The aircraft's handling a bit weird. Oh, pilot kill. Sniping. Ready to go again. I mean, I could pull the fly-by-wire switch, but I don't think that's going to help me here. It's probably going to actually work against me. It's going to make me stall even worse. One of the nice things about fly-by-wire is that it means I don't have to worry about that so much. Like, it's very difficult for me to get the aircraft to depart controlled flight while it's on. The only real risk is if I'm at very low altitude. So while it would let me pull inside of him in certain conditions, it would also probably result in me stalling and losing control. You don't look so healthy.
It's still controllable though. At least you got an easy telly.
Yeah, exactly. It helps a lot. Using the rudder here to get the nose on him. A lot of rudder work when I fly. Especially in close. Ah, not quite, not quite. Fuck, come on. There we go. Oh, took me a while.
I ain't dead yet.
Bro, come on, you're missing like half your tail, you're on fire. I think I shot your radar out. Oh, you fucking hit me with something too, nice.
I don't know how this thing's still flying, but it is.
I don't either. Like, I can see the full extent of the damage, I really don't know how it's still flying.
I'm missing a bit of my vertical stat.
I think it would be quicker to list what you're not missing.
This is not flying too great, shot. I still got a radar and a gun.
Still both engines too, by the looks of it. Still got a lot of power to pull up like that.
Oh shit, this might be the end of it.
Oh my
Bit of a
god.
high alpha.
Yeah, you reckon? I think you're actually doing better now with all the damage because I'm struggling to get the nose on you. I'm on the edge of a stall.
Oh, I recovered it! I don't know how, but I just recovered that.
Did I hit you there?
Yeah.
Why won't this thing die? Jesus! You're gonna run me out of ammo soon. Or fuel. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Alright, maybe I can't fly with that one.
Yeah, what was that? Both wings and the rest of the tail?
That was
Oh, that was crazy. Alright, I'm ready to go. The gun mode does work, by the way, it just doesn't light up. I'm having a lot of trouble cranking this thing like I do on JDF. I don't know if it's because the air density, we're a bit higher up than I usually fight, and the season's different. I don't know if it's that, or if it's just because I'm not used to turning with a Hornet that knows what he's doing. And I've lost him already. No idea where the fuck you went. I saw a grey streak there. Nice! Never saw you.
ready?
I already spawned in, my bad. I got a bit carried away. Yeah, it's a lot harder than JDF actually fighting someone that knows how to handle the Hornet.
Damn.
That give you a bit of a scare? I kind of regret that though, because I've totally lost sight of you again.
Yeah, I just lost you. My fucking alarm went off, I was trying to turn it off.
There he is. I hope I got the airspeed for this. It's not really helping me much though. Did hit me there. Sorry, say again.
Probably got one more in me, and that's
alright.
Work. Unfortunately.
We're ready when you are?
Ready, last one. Just one in him.
Yeah, a couple did, Pom. I was actually dogfighting against Danny and Goats last night. Lost him. Apparently he hasn't lost me. Ah, yep. There we go. Behind me. Don't know if I forced an overshoot or what, I can't see. There he is. There we go. I don't have any energy to follow him up though, so I need him to cross my nose again, which it looks like he might do. Yes. Yes, yes. Here we go. Now we're in business. He's gonna motor away, but not quick enough. Probably should have stayed vertical. why I was that low in speed. Because when he's horizontal like this, it's not that hard for me to catch up to him. Oof. Didn't quite have the angle I needed there.
Nice one, man. Well played.
Cheers. It was good fun. Bit of good practice against somebody that actually knows how to fly.
It's good.
Alright, man, I will catch you later. I think I might go terrorize anyone still on Just Dogfight. Alright, let's hop out of Discord. Yeah, Torni's good to fight against. He will do things that they won't do. Oh, there's nobody on now. RIP. Server dead. Let's see if Cold War has anyone on. Probably not this time of day. Nope. Growling Sidewinder it is. Oh, it's pretty quiet. Hey. Ideal territory for the MiG-29. I've changed the stream title now, though. Actually, you know what? Let's fly the Mirage on that. It's going to take a little longer to get started up, but I might do the Mirage. I'm still not sure why I can't speak to the AWACS on this, but I've got to figure it out somehow. Thanks for the raid, Tony. Good flying with you, man. We definitely need to do that more often. I would have hopped on earlier with you guys on Just Dogfight. The problem is I had to re-download the entire patch twice to get it to finally work, and then wait about 45 minutes for it to unpack. So that was interesting. But yeah, I think what set that apart from what I usually get, other than being a bit higher up, because I'm usually on the deck when I'm dogfighting, the fact that you actually go vertical in the 18, but you don't do it the way that everyone else does, because the way I fly, I'm usually not very fast when I'm in a fight like that, so you kept just pulling up and away and I couldn't follow you, so it made it really hard for me to get shots. I think all the shots I got there were as you either crossed my nose or came down. Whereas normally on Just Dogfight, it's like everyone just does flat circles. It's easy to catch. Quit being 14 hours ahead. I wish. Man, I hate this time zone. Anyway, have fun at work, man. And I will probably see you tomorrow if you're playing. And definitely next week. Alright, here we go. Vaziani. Alright, I have to shamefully admit I still use the auto startup for the Mirage just because I can't remember the full sequence. If I can even remember. Yeah, there we go. Okay. But there's still some things I need to set up. I don't think the auto start does the alignment for you, so I gotta do that myself. Okay. Oh, ground power helps. Hey.
Turn on the ground power. Copy. Ground power is now on.
I think that's in the right slot. I know I did POM, but I've forgotten most of it. Okay, get rid of that. We are north. 413796. And then we are east 0450186. Altitude's 466, that is already correct, I believe. Yes, it is. Alrighty. Oops. There we go. Now what else do I need to set up? Countermeasures. Put that on. Nope, bit of a freeze there. Can bail before I throw up from stress and sinus headache. Ah. Well, good luck getting through that one, man. I will catch you later. Okay, round refuel. I don't even know if this is going to be any use to me. I think that's an ACM pod.
Request rearming. Copy.
My view's off center again. This happens pretty often with the Mirage, and I'm not sure what does it, but whatever. There we go. Close enough. Getting a lot of freezing, though. A lot of freezing. Holy shit. Oh, no wonder. It's trying to load everything at once.
Rearming complete.
Yeah, that explained a few things. Hoping the performance on this clears up in a minute. This is the first time I played on this server post-patch, so for all I know they might have broken it worse than it already was. Get rid of those wheel chocks as well.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Oh, why is the game stuttering so badly?
Wheel chocks are now removed.
Holy shit, I think somehow they've actually made DCS run even worse. It's just about freezing my PC. Bear with me for a minute, guys, sorry. Let's have a look. What is eating all of my memory? DCS is doing about what it usually does. Ah, Discord probably is not helping. Alright, I'll have to restart that after. Still really stuttery. Get rid of our nav lights. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna just close my browser, because I think that's probably not helping either, so we're not gonna have any music here for a while, guys. My apologies, but I think that might also be part of the problem. I never used to have issues with DCS running this badly, so this might be a patch issue, who knows. Or it could just be this server, because this server's never run well for me. Alright. Get the radar set up. No, it's still freezing. Brilliant. Is anyone else having really bad performance after the patch? Or is it just me? Like, it was fine when I was flying with Torni, but this is the worst stutter I've had on DCS since back when I had 16 gigabytes of RAM. Again, I know this server does it a lot. It never runs well for me, but it usually runs better than this. Okay. Might have cleared up now. Who knows? It might just be one of those things when you're on the ground. Why am I not moving? Am I on the grass? No. I'm not on the grass. My Mirage has just randomly decided to not move. That's interesting. Very interesting. When you have to use the afterburner to taxi. Oh, no, there we go. That's an interesting bug. My toe brake was somehow stuck on, I guess. So I think it's a safe assumption this flight's going to go brilliantly, given that we're not even off the ground yet and we're already having problems. Now I can't nose wheel steer. Now I think I am stuck in the grass. These hangars destructible? I don't think the hangars even have collision models. Rain falls through them. I'm fairly sure you can actually hit players through them with weapons. I think you can take shrapnel damage through them. I know you can taxi through the doors when they're, like, if you're on multiplayer and it's desynced. Oh, come on, what the fuck? So yeah, I guess the Mirage hasn't been updated to work properly with the patch. And it's causing my brakes to get stuck on. I had this issue with the Vigan, actually. So I wonder if it's related. What is going on? So I guess we're flying the MiG-29 next flight. Because this is ridiculous. I can't even get to the runway. There's a picture on Facebook today of a Sidewinder shooting through a mountain. A lot of times the missile will look like it's going through the mountain if it just clips the tree line. I've had that happen a lot. Okay. Alright, we'll just go for the first turn off towards the runway because I'm getting kind of tired of dealing with this. And it takes me so much power to get moving again that when I do start rolling, I'm going too fast and I can't steer. Haven't changed my Mirage controls at all. I've not done anything with it. Totally untouched. I think just the patch broke the Mirage's ground handling and it hasn't been fixed. Such is life when you play on open beta, I guess. Oh, and now I can't turn left. I've got more runway this... which way? Probably go right. I think I'm halfway down it. Good enough, let's get out of here. Oh, I also forgot to set my radio up. I forget what AWACS was on here. I think it's 125 point something. Set it up here. So for those stopping here for the first time, I'm usually slightly better organized than this. Those of you that have seen me stream before know exactly what I'm like, so you know to expect some mishaps. Alright, there we go, 225. What have I got it set to? 125. No wonder. Well, I can't call him. Getting locked already. That is not friendly, according to... Wait, no, my IFF's off. That is friendly. Good thing I checked. I should be hearing AWACS. Why am I not hearing AWACS? Do you need a good PC to run this? If you type in !specs, you can see what I'm running it on. If I was running off an SSD, I would have a bit better performance in the game, like the load times for textures and stuff would be shorter and I wouldn't have as much stuttering. You don't need like a NASA computer. Obviously you want a good one, but it doesn't need to be like super amazing. It's friendly. Alright. I think I should be able to get my music going again now. I forget how to tune the other radio. So the radio might be broken, maybe. I'm on 225, which is the right frequency. I'm in the right mode. On manual. Should work. Enjoyed Tom Cruise. I mean, he's a pretty decent actor. I'm not a big fan of certain lifestyle choices of his, but he's a good actor. I'll give him that. A very good actor. It was fucking fantastic in Collateral. That was a really good movie. I really liked that one. Okay, that's friendly. Got an 18 out there somewhere. So I appear to have no radio. A lot of the lights in the cockpit aren't working, so I can't really tell if I'm in the right weapons mode very easily. And as we saw, the brakes are screwed up at the moment. But hey, at least my IFF works. That's the important one. That scene is fucking incredible. That's also a very good reason why, if you're going to do a shootout scene in a movie, that and heat. That's why you use the real audio from the blanks. It just sounds so much more intimidating than some shitty sound effect that people have heard, like, you know, hundreds of times before from a sound library. The pacing on that scene as well was brilliant. The fact that he actually learnt to do that, like the training it takes to reach that level, that was really impressive. Hello, what are you? Is that the friendly that I spotted before? Yeah, that is. Town also has really good gun audio. Public Enemies has some too, although it's kind of hit and miss because there are some scenes where they use the real audio and some scenes where they dubbed it. And you can really notice the difference. I have no idea. Well, actually, that's wrong. I have a vague idea where I am. It would be so nice to be able to talk to AWACS right now. Bit of a freeze there again. So I think next flight I'm going to take the MiG-29. Just because it seems the Mirage is a bit broken at the moment. And I'm pretty new to this thing, so I struggle to fly it well in this server at the best of times. Going through fuel pretty fast as well. never seen someone use a MiG-29. Well, we'll have to fix that. I really enjoy flying it, it's a nice plane. The only thing is, on this server especially, because of how crowded it can get, the lack of data link really does cause issues. If you get into the middle of a furball, you can't really tell what's going on around you. But when it's low population, like it is right now, that's pretty much the ideal time to break out the 29. It's great for ambushing people. I really wish that there were more people who played as ground controllers in DCS. I've flown with a human ground controller a couple times, and it makes an enormous difference. I've also flown against them, and again, it makes an enormous difference. It's how pretty much every single Soviet fighter was designed to be operated as part of a layered air defense system with a human ground controller, to the point where PVO interceptors were designed so that they could be flown totally hands-off by the pilot, from takeoff to interception to landing by the GCI. They could actually send commands directly to the aircraft's autopilot. So the pilot, if he wanted to, could just sit there with his arms folded the whole flight. He didn't even have to fire the weapons, but obviously for reasons that might be fairly obvious, the ground crew, the GCI weren't permitted to actually fire the weapons, only fly the aircraft to the intercept and then hand off to the pilot. The Americans had the same technology. I believe they introduced it with the F-102. Oh, hello. You're not friendly. What do ground controllers do? They vector you onto a target, so it's kind of like, say you've got an early warning ground radar network. They will see the incoming target. They will give you basically directions to put you in a position where you can best intercept that target, either a head-on pass if it's something that's faster than you, so you actually have a chance to shoot it as it goes past, or if it's something that you can actually catch up to, they might put you into an ambush position where you can creep up from behind it or below it or something. They'll basically talk you onto your target, so you always have someone telling you, the target's like in your 11 o'clock 5 kilometers away or something. You always have that knowledge of where the target is, and they can basically steer you right in for a perfect shot. Again, kind of like AWACS, basically. Oh, someone's got a missile out on me. And blacked out. I'm probably going to hit some trees here. Nope, not quite. I have a bad habit of forgetting how easy it is to hit 9G in the Mirage and blacking myself out like that. Wonder if I can learn if my computer's not good enough to fly. It's pretty easy to do. So you get like the map view, and you can see all your friendly aircraft and then any enemy aircraft that are visible to your radar network. And you've got like the ruler tool, which I'll show you in the F10 screen next time I die. I'll have an opportunity to check it. And that allows you, hello, what are you? You are not friendly. If I hit him at all. Probably not. No. My missile would have lost track as soon as I tried to pull away from that. They've actually made the game run worse. Well done, ED. Well done. I've never had it freeze up like that on me before. So yeah. Right. So, what I will show you is, so in the F10 map here, you've got this, which is your ruler tool, and then you can use that to draw a line from one thing to another. So, say I wanted to know where, let's see. Say I wanted to know where this SU-27 is. I would draw a line from myself to him. Bearing is 273. Range is 52 miles. And then his altitude, you click on him to see that. His altitude is 6,500. Although I'm not sure if that's in meters or feet because I'm on the Russian side. So the Russians use different units from the Americans. But you just read off the bearing and range and altitude from the friendly aircraft to their nearest enemy, or to whichever enemy they want to know where he is. And then they can use that to steer onto them. And then for certain aircraft as well, like the MiG-29, where it's really awkward to look at the compass as you're trying to maneuver, you might give them just an instruction like, oh, he's close in your 3 o'clock, or something like that. You're basically just guiding them onto a target using the map view. Anyway, let's get this thing rearmed. So yeah, I'm not sure what exactly they've done, but something about how the game loads into rain now seems to actually make it run even worse for me, which is not good. I'll have to check it hasn't reset my settings or something, maybe, that could be it, but I don't think it would.
Перезарядка по плану. Прием.
So here's our MiG-29. I think they broke the texture on the R-73 Seeker head as well. It shouldn't be grayed out like that, I don't think. Pretty sure it shouldn't be grayed out. This was a pretty big patch, so they probably have altered quite a few things that they normally wouldn't have touched. I think they did a lot of work on the graphics engine or something, because they did have to, English is hard, find a memory leak, which was something to do with the graphics, and kill it, and that may actually have, like the way they've done it may actually be the issue here, I don't know. I'm not a programmer, but whatever they've done, it's worse than it was before for me on this server. It was fine in the other servers I was in, so who knows. Just DCS things.
Один, 1-9. Латиния. Разрешаю руление на полосу 3-1.
So I think, to be honest with you guys, because I'm having performance issues with the game here, I might make this a relatively short stream today, so I might go for another, like, half hour or hour or so, a couple flights. But, I'll probably do a longer stream over the weekend, once I figure out what's causing this. In case it's not clear, this was the first time I've actually launched the game since the patch. It took me about 2 hours to get the game working after the patch because it didn't install correctly. So, yeah, I'm pretty much taking as it comes right now. I had no prior warning. Oh, that may have broken the tires. So something you want to be careful of when you're in the MiG-29 is this little orange light on the warning panel here. It says damper off. The blinking white light here is the damper status light. That little 6-pack of buttons is for the autopilot modes. Now it's on solid, warning light's out. You don't really want to fly this thing with the damper off. It makes it quite unstable. Well, not really unstable, but just difficult to control. It tends to overcompensate a lot, so you want to make sure that the damper is on when you fly the MiG-29. By contrast, in the MiG-21, you generally want it off for takeoff and landing. So we're going to drop the flaps. Unfortunately, because the FC-3 aircraft are not full fidelity, we only have flaps up and landing flaps. That's a 3-position button. That is up, takeoff, landing, but we only have up and landing in this. Still works, but not quite as well. Oh, what? Oh! That explains a few things. My right engine never started. Why did my right engine never start? It's alright, I'm technically not blocking a runway because this is actually an out-of-service, so... it's a taxiway, it's an out-of-service runway that's been repurposed as a taxiway, so... get this engine started and we'll get out of here. You do have to start the engines one at a time in the MiG-29, unlike the Su-27. I think what may have happened was I probably flipped the ignition a bit too early while the other engine was still spooling up, and it doesn't like when you do that. I probably should have checked beforehand, but I was in a hurry to get off the ground, so... oops. I also have no high range or high gain nose wheel steering with the flaps down. So we'll just line up as best I can, and off we go. Tail straight. Oh my god. I'm all over the place today. Why is my left engine not an afterburner? Right. Something's fucked up here. I'm gonna have to land. Something's wrong with my left engine. It's not producing power. Well, not as much as the right engine, and it won't go into afterburner. This is what usually happens when I try and demonstrate an aircraft. Everything that is possibly able to go wrong, goes wrong. I don't know if I damaged the afterburner with a tail scrape there or what, but I've never had this happen before. So it's a new experience for me. And I'm coming in way too fast, so I'm going to loop back around the other way. The MiG-29's air brake won't deploy with the wheels down, so you've got to get rid of your airspeed before you drop the landing gear. Do you pay currency to spawn a jet? Not on this server. Some servers have a life point system, like DDCS, where POM plays. There's a life point system there. Other servers, like Blue Flag, for instance, you have a limited number of lives per server session. But on this server, it's pretty much Airquake, so you have infinite lives. You can just respawn whenever you die. Okay, I'm coming in way too fast here. But the plane is malfunctioning anyway, so... Oh, okay. Wow, someone just desynced right there. I think that was the worst MiG-29 landing I've done in about 6 months. But at least we didn't go off the runway. The only problem is now I'm right down the end of it, so I've got to backtrack.
119. Заруливайте на стоянку.
So, everything that just happened there, just pretend it didn't, because the MiG-29 normally doesn't do any of that. Oh, Jesus. We'll just pull off, repair, and rearm, and then go again, and pretend that never happened. Oh, no, God no, I'm not an expert flyer, I'm a ship pilot. I'm just a bit less shit than the other people that play on Just Dogfight. That's the only difference. I fly by the seat of my pants, I don't study whatever I'm doing, I just learn by doing, so I often break planes. Right, got to shut down the engines to get rearmed and repaired, because the Flaming Cliffs 3 aircraft, for whatever reason, the ground crew won't come near you with the engines running. So, yeah, normally, both engines start without a problem, so I wouldn't have veered off the runway there. Normally, I wouldn't tail strike, but because the game's stuttering and also I think I had a bit too much trim on, I did. And then normally, you wouldn't have a problem with one engine not going into burner. So, I think that was just me being clumsy.
Заправка по плану.
Is the A10 good? Yeah, if that's your thing. It's... You don't so much fly the A10 as manage its systems. There's a lot going on in the cockpit, which is why I don't fly it. It's just too confusing. It's too computerized for me to handle. It's a very capable aircraft at killing ground targets. And it's fun to fly with friends and stuff. But yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. I don't do a lot of ground attack stuff, and I don't deal well with glass cockpits or sort of Western aircraft ergonomics. For some reason, they just don't sit well with me. So the A10's way out of my comfort zone. Are they actually going to repair me?
Ремонт.
Hello?
Прием.
Normally it comes... There we go.
Оружие подвешено.
Wait 170 seconds for repair. So I gotta wait like 3 minutes for repair. It would probably be quicker to just spawn a new plane, honestly. Which I might do. Right.
Перезарядка по плану. Прием.
Okay, I've got to wait for them to put the missiles on before I start up again because the Flaming Cliffs 3 modules are very picky about that kind of thing. As far as I'm aware, all the full fidelity aircraft you can rearm and refill with the engines running, the ground crew don't care. Which is a lot better in my opinion, it saves a lot of time on the ground.
командир. Оружие подвешено.
There we go. Start the left engine. While the left engine starts up, we're getting some pressure in the hydraulic lines, so we can make sure our controls are responding. I don't have a lot of left rudder because of my broken rudder pedals, but I got enough to make do. Okay, now the right engine's definitely starting, because the right engine start light is on. Should probably change the stream title as well, since I'm not flying the Mirage anymore. What's the best jet fighter in real life? There is no best jet fighter in real life. It depends on what you want to do with it. Like, all those sorts of top 10 lists of the best tank or the best fighter are usually compiled with by people that have no experience with military hardware. There is no one the best. There's aircraft that are the best at certain things, like for instance the F-22 is the best at stealth out of all the modern fighters. Or, you know, like the Su-35 is one of the most maneuverable. But you don't really have any one best aircraft. It depends as well on the country that's operating it, what their requirements are. For instance, you can't operate Soviet or Russian-built aircraft the way you would operate American aircraft, because they're not designed for it. They put a lot more emphasis on an integrated air defense network, and they're mostly designed to be over friendly airspace, whereas American aircraft are meant to be over airspace which may not necessarily be friendly. And so they have typically better radars and are more self-reliant for information. They have better situational awareness, but yeah, I wouldn't say there's any one best fighter. It really depends on what angle you're coming from. For instance, I wouldn't say that the F-15 or the F-22 would be the best fighter if you were Russia. It's not built for your conditions, it wouldn't work, and it won't fit with your air defense network. By the same token, if the Americans adopted, say, the Su-35 or the Su-57, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. People get the idea that military hardware is something that you can quantify, like a mathematical certainty that you can quantify, and that numbers are everything. And that, you know, like for instance, the best tank is one that I've had a lot of trouble with. People think that, oh, this is the best tank. No, this is the best tank because it could kill so many of these tanks. Like, nothing the military uses operates in a vacuum. They have to integrate with other weapon systems, with infantry. They have to fit with the tactics and with the industrial capacity of the nation that uses them. So looking at things like, oh, well, this has the better weapons and it could kill more of these, so therefore it's the best, it's stupid. Kill-death ratios are not what win wars. Like, that's Call of Duty bullshit. It's not real. F-35, no. The F-35 is kind of a bit of a complex case because there were a lot of requirements put in for its development. I believe it was specifically from the Marine Corps, or it might have been from the Navy, I can't remember which, but one branch of the US military wanted all these attributes which were kind of, they didn't marry up well with what everyone else wanted, so you end up with a compromised aircraft. But the F-35 is not meant to be like a frontline air superiority fighter. It's not. It's a multi-role fighter, so, you know, it can do a bit of everything. It might not be the best at anything, but it can do a bit of everything. Kind of like the F-16. The F-16 isn't the best at anything, but it's really good at everything. And that's kind of the mentality with the F-35. It's also kind of like the Su-27 and the MiG-29, so the Su-27, the more expensive aircraft, and a bit more capable, but it's also very, very expensive, right? The MiG-29 is cheaper, easier to build, they can have more of them, but it's a bit less capable. So you have kind of a high-low approach, where you have a few really good planes for the air superiority role, and then a bunch of decent planes that are capable of doing a bit of everything. That's kind of where the F-35 fits in against the F-22 and the upgraded F-15s. It's not supposed to be an air superiority fighter, and people keep comparing it to things like the F-22 or the Su-57, and it shouldn't be compared to those. There were a lot of cost overruns in its development, and a lot of problems during its development, but people kind of tend to over-dramatize, and if something has a protracted or troubled development, it's suddenly the worst thing. I mean, 40 years ago, the Canadian press was saying that the F-18 was a pile of shit and they should never have ordered it because it was never going to get out of development and it didn't do anything they wanted. And the Hornet was just fine. It just took a while to iron out the kinks. So people like... And I used to be kind of on board with that, but people don't really give the F-35 the chance it deserves, and they don't really consider what it's designed to do when they compare it to other aircraft. 285-490. Man, they're miles away. So, for instance, a comparison a lot of people make is the Su-57 and the F-22, and right away it's a false comparison because the Su-57 makes a lot of compromises in stealth to pick up performance as an actual fighter aircraft for close-in combat. The Russians know that stealth is expensive, and they don't think it's as important. The Americans put a huge premium on stealth, like enormous premium on stealth. The Russians don't care so much about not being seen. What they care about is surviving once you are seen. And that's a very obvious trade-off you can see in the design of the Su-57, as well as various things to make it cheaper and easier to produce, because Russia's economy isn't anything like America's economy. They can't afford to build F-22s, basically, and it wouldn't work with their doctrine. My initial concerns with the F-35 are the fact that we dropped billions on them without a single... Yeah, that was... I mean, that's a fair concern. That is a valid concern. But that's a procurement problem more than an aircraft problem. And if there's one thing the military has in spades, it's procurement problems. They do that with everything. There's a lot of pieces of equipment that are now considered to be great and reliable, and why don't we keep it for even longer, which had the same problem when they were first adopted, just because of not really hedging your bets. And you either have something that does work out for the better, like the F-111 did, or you have something which does turn out to be a complete fucking lemon, and then you need to start looking for a replacement straight away. That's interesting.
119. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
So I'm using the electro-optical search now, so I don't have my radar turned on. It makes it a little harder for them to figure out where I am and who I'm targeting. But it also means I don't have as clear a picture of what's going on around me. Because the electro-optical sensor is more sensitive when someone's got their tail pointed towards me, especially if they're an afterburner. I think that's a friendly above me. Yeah, I'm not getting a shoot cue, it's friendly. So if I go to... yeah. The F90. I mean, it's an improvement over the F88. Like, they fixed a lot of the things that I thought was shit about the F88. I can't speak in detail because I've only handled one, I haven't shot one. But, I mean, they are making improvements on it. Which is better than nothing. Know why we didn't purchase Black Hawk since it's easy to obtain parts. Yeah, that's kind of confusing. It's one of those things, I guess. The quick detach barrel was actually a really good feature, and I'm sad they got rid of it. It was a really useful feature, and I never once experienced one coming off, ever. And that was even with the clapped out rifles we had. It was never a problem. It made clearing a really bad obstruction like that. You could do it in seconds. Like, any other rifle would choke and fucking die and you'd be out of action for a good minute or so trying to clear it. You could clear an F88 in about probably 10 seconds. If it was an obstruction. If it was something else, you might be in trouble.
300. 119. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 119. 300. Обнаружена цель. 301. Удаление 30. На 9000. Сближайтесь.
Not sure what this is. Can't even see him anymore. What was that distance?
300.
301.
Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
322 for 27. Holy shit, he's right here. Why can I not pick him up? I guess because he's so high above me. There we go. Oh, really? I lost him. MiG-29's radar is certainly not the best thing going.
300. 119. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 119.
28635. I still can't pick him up.
286. Удаление 35. На 500. Сближайтесь.
Oh, hang on, there was one closer. Right there.
Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 119. 300. Обнаружена цель. 328. Удаление 9. На 1000. Сближайтесь.
Can't see this guy at all. This is where the data link would be enormously handy. The SU-27 has one, the MiG-29 doesn't. Again, it's a cost thing. Oh shit, I had a fucking shoot cue on him. I lost it.
Удаление 10 на 3000. Дистанция не меняется.
That's him right there. He's flaring like crazy. Give him a 73 as well. Got him.
300-й. 119-й.
Oh, someone's got a missile out on me.
119-й.
Possibly that friendly.
1.
Unless there's another behind me.
На 500. Сближаюсь.
So the vertical scan mode, which I'm in here, is one of my close combat modes. You use that when you don't have time to use the actual proper radar overlay to lock someone up. You basically just point the nose somewhere near them and hit the lock button, and it'll pick up the first thing it sees in a narrow slot off the nose.
300-й. 119-й. Дайте курс на
But I
ближайшую
can't
цель.
see him anymore, so we're going to go back to our normal radar. So I killed a Hornet. I killed 2 guys there.
300-й.
So the first one I fired at must have connected as
Дайте
well.
курс на
Good.
ближайшую цель.
So at the moment I'm carrying 2 R-27 ETs, which are long-range infrared missiles. That's my ambush missile. They don't know I fired one of those at them unless they actually see it. But they kind of have suspicions. If you know there's a MiG-29 nearby and he's looking at you, you can be pretty sure he's going to shoot one at you. I'm also carrying a pair of R-77s, which are my sort of mid-range active missile, kind of like a Russian AMRAAM, but a bit less capable, a bit less range on it. So I can fire that and turn and run, and it should track them still. And then I've got 2 R-73s for close range work, so I'm going to need to use the 73 on this guy. He managed to trash my ET, and I'm out of 77s. He's running for dear life. I'm going to get nice and close, well within the missile's lethal range, and fire. He didn't see the launch, so he hasn't flared, or he's run out of flares, and down he goes. Time to return to base, because I'm out of ammo. I've still got the gun, but I'm not suicidal, so I'm not going to try and use it here.
Лачение. 119-й. Возврат.
119. Лачение. Следуйте курсом 099. Удаление 170. Давление 716,47. Посадочный 31. Занимайте высоту круга.
F-89 in Australian designation is the Minimi, by the way. F-88 is the Steyr, and then F-89 is the Minimi. F-90 is the new F-88 replacement. But like I said, the biggest problems I had with the F-88 were it was heavy and some of the parts would wear out. Like, that was it. It was an accurate rifle. It was easy to use, like really stupidly easy to use. Easy to strip and reassemble, easy to clear malfunctions from. Like I said, I thought the quick detach barrel was a good feature because you could clear obstructions effortlessly with it, and also it helped with like range clearances and shit. It just made it a little bit safer for that. But the weight was really something. It is a heavy rifle for its size. Very heavy rifle for its size. That, I think, is an enemy command post, or it might be friendly. The thing with the big tower over there. Actually, I think it's enemy EWR, so I'm going to not overfly it, because I don't want to get shot down by SAMs. Get the music going again. The server seems not to... Well, I mean, DCS seems not to be running as badly anymore, so I might actually stay on for a bit longer than I was planning. I was just getting frustrated before because it kept freezing up on me, but it seems fine now. Might be because people are starting to, I don't know, it's not emptying, it's just there's not as many people on.
Вращение 119. Прибой.
I'm still not 100% certain on how these little hoops work on the nav mode. I know it's a direction indicator of some sort, I'm just not sure how it works. Like what it indicates when it's across to one side like that. So we're actually sitting on 3 kills off this flight, which I'm impressed with. I didn't expect to get that many. I'm not flying very well today, in case it hasn't, you know, been obvious so far. So I'm pretty happy with that result. Interestingly enough, I feel like the patch has somehow messed up my throttle curve for the MiG-29, because if I push into what should be mil power... Oh no, that is mil power. I was in minimum afterburner before, but I don't think I was through the afterburner gate on my throttle. It might be like the patch placebo effect, where you think things have changed when they haven't. Who knows? $80 kilometers to go until we are back at base. I'll land, rearm, and refuel, and off we go. 79394 with Princess Mary's Canadian Scottish Regiment. My grandfather was in the Canadian Scottish. He landed, which beach was it? Juno, I think. Juno Beach. With the, I think it was them and the Royal Winnipeg Rifles, because my armour group did a mission playing as Royal Winnipeg Rifles, and I didn't realise until I looked at the map briefing, I was like, holy shit, this is the same beach that Grandpa landed on. Like, the same sector of the same beach. So that was a fucking awesome experience. I mean, we weren't using the exact part of the beach, because there isn't an armour map for it. Everyone does fucking Omaha because memes. Or I think this one was like a section between Omaha and Utah, but the geography was close enough that we just made it a stand-in for Juno. Use C7A1 before LCAN sites were issued. We, when I was in, we used the LCANs as like the marksman's optic because the ACOG wasn't standard kit. And right as I was getting out, the ACOG was starting to be issued as standard, and very shortly was then replaced by the LCAN Spectre. I got to, at the same time I played with that F89, oh sorry, F90, I got to play with the Spectre because it had one mounted on it, and I can see why people like those sights so much. They are brilliant optics. Yeah, I really wish I'd been old enough to like talk to Grandpa more about what he did in the army, because he had an interesting war. He was involved in the invasion of Kiska, and did not hold a very high opinion of the Americans as a result. Although I will say the Canadian Army came out the better of that than the Americans did. And then he went over to land in Normandy, and he got shot. And you know that thing in movies where like somebody's Bible saves them from getting shot in the heart? That happened to him, but it wasn't his Bible. It went straight through his fucking Bible. It was his pocket watch that stopped the bullet. And I think his, I think a lot of his stuff's in the arsenal at Victoria or somewhere. I can't remember. We donated it to them when the local Legion branch closed down. Also, that mission is uploaded on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. I got a couple clips from it too on my Twitch, but yeah, the whole mission's up. I think it's called Little Black Devils or something. It would be probably about a year ago now, maybe a little less, that we played it. It's a really good mission too. It actually went over pretty well. Relatively speaking, it wasn't as much of a clusterfuck as 345th missions usually are, put it that way. And there was a particularly hilarious moment when both of our Bren gunners were comparing their dick sizes, basically, bragging about how many Germans they'd shot, and a fucking Stug rolled around the corner and scared the shit out of everybody. When you're comparing dick sizes and the fucking best hung guy in the neighborhood comes walking around the fucking corner. So one thing about the MiG-29 is it's a very aerodynamically clean aircraft. It doesn't lose speed very well. So you can see me here, I got my air brake out and I'm in a turn and I'm still trying to wash this speed off so I can pull in for a landing approach. My approaches, especially on this server, tend to be a little hot. So I'm a bit fast and that turn was a bit hard. But we can sort the airspeed out on the way into the runway here. There's a bit of a crosswind on this server too, which complicates things, because the MiG-29, like the Su-27, handles like a leaf in the wind, and it's very easily blown around. Just using the rudder here to correct my lineup. As always, I'm right of the center line. I'm like this in real life too. I don't know why I'm always right of the center line, I just am. Bit of a bounce, but we're down. Gently pump the brakes. Once I get below 280 kilometers an hour, I can pop out the drag chute. There we go. And we'll turn off on the next taxiway. Flaps in. Get rid of the chute. And we are good to go. Also reset my trim, because if I leave my landing trim on for takeoff, I'll tail strike. Also shortly after the Canadian... Ooh, yeah, oops. Oops. This is why we can't have nice things. I don't know what it is. And like, this is coming from someone that... One of the guys in my unit was from... actually, a couple of guys in my unit were from 3RA, so they were paratroopers. They were pretty switched on, down-to-earth guys, but... There seems to be an interesting correlation between paratrooper regiments in Western countries and, shall we say, extreme political groups of a particular persuasion. Because 3RA had a bad reputation for that as well. A bad reputation for that. Just they didn't get caught, you know, kicking anybody's heads in on peacekeeping operations. But yeah, that was not good. Not good at all. Also, apologies for the fact I'm even less articulate than I usually am today, but as you might imagine, thinking that I might need to reinstall DCS from scratch to get the damn game to run today kind of put me on tilt. So, my brain is not cooperating, as if it ever does. Right, we'll stop up here, kill the engines, and get the ground crew to come over once they spool down. So that was a pretty successful flight. I really didn't expect that. 3 kills off one flight. And I was basically not paying attention to what I was doing the whole time. I think that's the secret. I need to be distracted to do well on this server. Every time I have a really good run, it's because I'm not paying attention. I'm too busy talking to chat. I used all my countermeasures there. Unfortunately, the MiG-29 doesn't carry very many, So, your Western aircraft typically carry a shitload of countermeasures. The Su-27 carries quite a lot because it's a big plane. The MiG-29, not so much. So, the countermeasures themselves, if you can see these kind of strakes in front of the tail fins, you can see how there's little holes in those. That's where they dispense from. Much like on the MiG-23, in fact, I think there may even be the same dispensers that they use on the MiG-23, on the MiG-23 MLD. That's all I've got. So 60 in total, 30 on each side. But it is a beautiful aircraft. It flies very nicely. It has some of the peculiarities it shares with a lot of the other Soviet-built aircraft, so you don't have an auto trimmer, you have to do it by hand, and you really are on the trimmer constantly with these planes. As I said, it is heavily affected by wind, like the Su-27, just because they are very high-lift aircraft. At times they feel more like a World War I plane than a jet, because they have this beautiful blended fuselage, so that pretty much the entire plane is one giant lifting body. The electronics, a lot of people don't like them. There are certain aspects of them I don't like. For instance, with a radar antenna, you have to set the predicted range, the actual azimuth and elevation of the radar antenna, and then you still have to be able to figure out exactly where someone is on it. So, like, it can be really spotty trying to pick somebody out with the radar if you don't know exactly where they are beforehand. I don't like that, but the radar display itself, I do like how it projects onto the HUD. It's very intuitive, and it means I can keep my head up. So I guess it's just different strokes for different folks, but the systems on this make more sense to me than the F-15 or the Hornet or anything like that. Like, this is easy for me to memorize. I understand what I'm doing in this plane. The Mirage is kind of in between. I can kind of learn the Mirage by doing, like I do with most planes, but it took me a little while to get into it. Something like the Hornet I would probably just faint if I had to figure out how to use it. Harrier as well. I have no idea how to turn the Harrier on, let alone use the weapons. Okay, so we should be good now, I think. The damper's turned itself off, we'll turn it back on. Yep, rearmed, so we can start the left engine. I've already reset the trim. I've got some back trim on for takeoff, not too much. So all I've got to do now is get started up, taxi over to the runway and take off, and we're good to go again. Oh wow, there's only 3 guys on blue. Interesting. Oh. Okay, there's 3 guys on blue, but I think I know why there's 3 guys on blue. Look at all those F-14s. Jesus Christ. Right engine's not quite spooled up yet.
119, латиния. Разрешаю руление на полосу 3-1.
I'm barely just putting on any power here. The throttle's almost in idle, because the MiG-29 is so powerful and so light, it runs away from you on the ground. You've got to keep the throttles just cracked from idle, just barely. And you've got to be ready on the brakes, because man, she gets away from you. She's a slippery customer on the ground. How many degrees can you shoot IR missiles with the Erst helmet mount? Is this exactly like HMD in the Hornet? Okay, so you have no functional HMD, and it's not modeled properly. So if you look in the mirror here, I should have a giant, it's like a giant sort of triangular trapezoidal type mount that hangs off the front, like it's a big chungus, comes off the front of the helmet, and it has a little flip down perspex monocular, and it tracks like a track IR, so these two boys here are to pick up where the helmet's looking. Of course, it's not displayed here, but you also have the thing where it's displayed as a, like a hologram, or as a, sort of HUD circle here. It's not. It's an actual perspex thing. So I don't know if you fly the KA-50 in this, but it's the same thing as that, basically. So it's not modeled properly here. As for limits, I can look not quite 90 degrees off bore sight. I'd say that's probably, what, about 80? So that'd give me probably about 150, 160 degrees off bore sight. Every direction except down. Put it this way, the tracking ability of an R-73, like its maneuvering ability, is better than the actual field of view you have with the Erst. So you can have them on the limits of your locking sort of zone, lock them with that, fire an R-73, and they'll be going past you, and the 73 will just throw a U-turn and get onto them. It's not as good as the 9X, so from watching POM fly the Hornet, the 9X looks like it has a far wider engagement zone with the helmet sight. The helmet display is just so much better on the Hornet. It's a proper HMD. As well as that, the 9X seems to turn a bit better than the R-73. I don't know if that's actually like because you can shoot it from higher angles, or if it's actually better at maneuvering. I believe the R-73 might maneuver better technically, but the 9X has better electronics. As well as that, the 9X comes off the rail immediately. The R-73, like all missiles on the Soviet and Russian-built aircraft, you have to hold the trigger in for about, I think it's like a second or so, sometimes a little longer, for the missile to pick up the track off the aircraft and drop from the rail. So you've got to factor that delay in with your engagements. You've got, you know, like a second or so before you can actually fire on someone, even if you've got them locked.
Один, 1-9. Взлет запрещаю. 1-1-9. Латиния. Взлет по готовности. Отход по схеме на 300. Подавление 7-1-6,4-7.
300-й, 119-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 119-й, 300-й. Обнаружена цель. 336. Удаление 120 на 500. Дистанция не меняется.
The MiG-29 accelerates like crazy. Much zippier than the Su-27. I mean, it's a much lighter aircraft. If you compare this and the 27 alongside each other, it's tiny by comparison. Much smaller, much lighter. The Su-27's got a much, well, not much better flight endurance, but it's got more fuel, so longer range. Carries more missiles, more complex electronics, but the 29 is like a rocket by comparison. So you can get yourself into and out of trouble very quickly with the MiG-29, whereas the Su-27 is a bit more sluggish on the controls. This is not fly-by-wire. It's kind of half fly-by-wire. It's not fully mechanical controls, but it hasn't got a true fly-by-wire system either. It is technically a manually flown aircraft. The 27 has fly-by-wire, but it's kind of early generation fly-by-wire, so it still doesn't have auto trim or anything like that. Never had much interest in East Block aircraft. I find the MiG-15 and 19, I think I might start messing with them more. Yeah, they're fun. I enjoy them. I mean, like I've said numerous times, they just work with me. They fit with me. I like them. I like how they look. I like how they fly. I like everything about them. And I kind of... The way they're meant to be employed, of course, doesn't really happen in DCS because no one plays GCI, but the way they're meant to be employed under guidance of a GCI fits more with me, because although I'm interested in them, I don't have the attention span or the time to study and have an encyclopedic knowledge of what radar mode I should be in, or, you know, a certain way to combat a certain aircraft, whereas having a GCI who is telling you, he's over here, he's this type of aircraft, you should probably do this against him, is exactly what I need. Like, if you guide me onto a target, I can engage it. If you put me, you know, within visual of something, I can kill it pretty well. But getting within visual without getting killed is where I fall down. So having a GCI to kind of set me up in an ambush position, where I have the drop on the enemy rather than the other way around, it really makes a huge difference, especially in the older aircraft like the MiG-29. It's an enormous difference in the MiG-29. It's literally night and day. I actually didn't have much interest in the MiG-19 specifically until the module was in development for DCS, and I started to look into it more, and I'm actually interested in it now. I still don't have the module because I happened to quit my last job right around the time that that I thought it was going to come out, and by the time it did come out, I didn't have enough money. Well, I did, but I didn't want to blow money on it. I wanted to kind of save it a little, so... Still don't have the MiG-19. I do want to get it at some point. By the time I do get it, they'll probably fix the flight model, which is a little bit questionable at the moment. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit questionable. It's better than the F-15, put it that way. But yeah, it's an aircraft that does interest me now, and one of the beautiful things about flying the Soviet aircraft is that because of their design philosophy and their logistical situation and just simple practical mindedness that you know, is kind of stereotypical of the Soviets, but for a good reason, their cockpit layouts are almost all identical. So you can convert from one aircraft to another with a minimum amount of time spent trying to find different things around the cockpit. They're all in the same place. The cockpit differences between a MiG-21 to a 23 to a 29 are very small, and they're progressive changes. So if you put me in any one of them, I can find most of what I need to know, just from memory, from where it's positioned or from what the gauge looks like. Having standardized cockpits made it simple and easy to produce and design aircraft. It might not be ergonomic in the Western sense of things, but damn does it make you able to transfer pilots between types very quickly. And once you do learn the layout, it might not be ideal, but it's workable. There's nothing about the way this cockpit's laid out that gives me any problems. I know where the different gauges, like I know what each of these instruments is, just off the top of my head. Everything I need to know is within my field of view looking forwards. There's a little stuff on the HUD that I would like to have extra. I would like to have a proper pitch ladder like the American aircraft have, and I'd love to have a total velocity vector like the American aircraft have, at least in the landing mode, if nothing else. But otherwise, the HUD design is simple, it's not cluttered, it works well. I like it. It's comfortable. Then again, people say the same thing about American aircraft, which I won't touch with a 10-foot pole because, oh my god, computers and glass cockpits, scary. Sorry, I think I just bumped my mic. Hopefully I didn't just deafen you guys. Right, where's our nearest target? Probably a fair ways out. So one other thing to note with the electro-optical sensor on this, you don't have quite the degree of control over where it's looking as you do on the SU-27. You can only pan it horizontally, not vertically, whereas on the SU-27 you can pan it vertically like you can with the radar antenna. Nice if AWACS would reply to me. Teams are about even now at least. 254. 180 on the deck. Man, he's a long way out. Yeah, I hear you on that. I am pretty much 100% aches and pains at this point. I have a bunch of stuff going on, which I don't think is gonna really count towards much as far as getting assistance goes, because the Australian welfare system is in a shit-awful state, and you basically have to be missing at least 2 limbs for them to give you the time of day at this point. It's shocking. So my little sister hopefully won't care about me disclosing this. I mean, she tells everyone she meets anyway. But she has quite, not really, I guess, quite severe mental issues, but she's gone through a lot. And she's been diagnosed with something quite serious. And she is struggling to get the help she needs, because the system here is just a joke, and they deliberately set it up to frustrate people so that they'll drop out of the system. The government doesn't care if you end up being homeless or, you know, dying in the streets. They only care that you're not on the welfare system, because then they have more money to give to multinational corporations and people who live on the North Shore of Sydney and don't need any more tax breaks than they already have. I mean, I'm on a job seeker allowance at the moment while I look for a new job, and I am pretty much living week to week at the moment. I'd be a little better off if my electricity bills weren't so fucked up. Again, that is an ongoing issue. I'm relatively sure someone's stealing my electricity, like tapping off of it, and I'm getting charged. That, or somebody's tapping off my hot water. Either way, I am using way more electricity than there's any way I could be using. So that doesn't help, but it's just a joke. Like, it would be easier to find a new job if I didn't have to sink so much time and fucking energy and stress into not having my payments cut off. Like, the whole system is just self-defeating, honestly. But we live in a world these days where nobody cares about the little people. We are just a burden for the bright stars of our world who, you know, contribute greatly to society by doing absolutely nothing. Our Prime Minister just got an $11,000 a year pay rise, while the penalty rates here for working on weekends and public holidays got cut yet again. So that's pretty great. The Prime Minister who has presided over the worst slump in GDP in recent history, by the way. I'm gonna push the override on that and get the fuck out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to lose this missile. I'm pretty close to this guy. I've got to get rid of the belly tank too. Right, there that goes. Did I get him? Don't think so.
300-й, 119-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 119-й.
258 for 13. Oh, he's close. Can't see him. And I'm out of countermeasures. 5 for 4. Don't see him. Ah. Didn't see him. And he got away from my 73. I should have probably fired a 73 and a 77, or both 73s. I thought I'd be a little more economical with my missiles there, but it always bites me when I think like that. I tend to just launch 2 missiles at everything I see, if not more, and that honestly is probably the right way to do things, especially in a fucking Soviet-built aircraft. Soviet doctrine was to fire missiles in pairs, 1 heat seeker, 1 radar-seeking missile, so that is why. If they trash one, they've still got to trash the other, and what works against a heater doesn't work against a radar missile. Doctors think I'm fabricating and suffering from depression. I mean, let's be fucking real. Depression in itself is basically a fucking disability, and the fact that people still act like it's not is ridiculous. I was working 3 jobs before and doing illegal shifts and working 7 days a week. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't quite doing that, and I don't think I have the constitution to deal with 2 jobs at once because I can barely organize myself for 1. But I was picking up every bit of extra hours I could get. I was working to within a cunt hair of the legal limit here. I was getting everyone else's shifts dumped on me whenever they didn't feel like turning up to work, or, you know, whenever something hard or particularly unpleasant had to be done, it was somehow magically ending up that it had to be done by me. And I just burned myself out. That's the problem. I don't take time off. I won't take leave. I won't take a sickie unless I'm actually really, really ill. And so I got put on a part-time contract, and I probably should have just said, no, fuck off, I want to stay casual, because leave is no use to me. I don't use it, so I'd rather have the higher pay rate of a casual. But yeah, I was picking up some pretty ridiculous hours. It was really impacting my life outside of work in that I basically didn't have one. So I just got sick of it. And there was so much interpersonal drama going on as well. A lot of dangerous shit happening, people getting harassed into quitting. All our good workers were being bullied by a team leader into quitting because he didn't like that they showed him up. So yeah, I got the fuck out of there, and I might be far worse off financially for it, but man, I feel a lot better I'm not there now. I'd rather be living week to week than dealing with that kind of shit. It's just unreasonable. So, pretty much my only expenditures hobby-wise are DCS and, well, I can't even say shooting or flying anymore because I haven't bought any new guns for about 10 years and I haven't been flying for over a year now. So pretty much the only thing I spend money on really is DCS at this point. And occasionally I'll buy myself like a new jacket or something. Like I buy Milsurp shit just because I'm into it. But that's, you know, not frequent. So, it's not like I'm spending a lot of money. I live pretty cheaply. I've already decided I'm never getting married and I'm never buying a house because I will never be able to afford it, and I don't want to end up the rest of my life with a mortgage that I have to fucking slave away to pay off. Like, I've just decided at this point, I don't care. I'm not dealing with that shit. If I have to live with, if I have to speak English, live week to week, just paying rent somewhere, I don't care. If the trade-off for that is that my mental health is better, it's worth it. Why can I not turn left? What the fuck is going on? We'll just go across the grass, it's fine. Oh, that might not have been so fine. Just make sure the wheels aren't crooked after that. Yeah, the grass really needs fixing. It's so stupid. Some aircraft act like it's not there. Others, you touch that grass, you're not moving for fucking hell nor high water. Even in full burner with, like, minimum fuel load, minimum weapons. It's obscene. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned on stream before, so what my sister has, and what I probably have but haven't actually been tested for yet, is borderline personality disorder, which is not really a pleasant thing to be dealing with. And it actually, like, I didn't realize it was a possibility until she said she'd been diagnosed, and I thought, actually, that would explain a few things. So I don't cope real well with a lot of situations that you kind of have to cope with in most fucking workplaces in this day and age. So I've got to kind of weigh up, do I want to go and get an official piece of paper that says I have it, and risk getting bounced around this country's shitfest of a mental health system, hey Necro, and potentially have what happened to my sister, which is she made an off-color joke and had the mental health act invoked on her and hospitalized because she made a joke. I don't know about you guys, but the most terrifying thing for me is having my independence taken away, even for a moment. Like, I might not be good at being an adult, but fuck me, I can make my own bad choices, and you can be damned if you think you're gonna stop me. So that kind of thing scares the shit out of me. I don't want to deal with it. And at the same time, apparently, she told me this because a friend of hers also has it. Apparently, our welfare system does not consider personality disorders to be a real thing, and so they don't count towards getting any sort of support payment. So yeah, it's a pretty great situation to be stuck in. I basically bounced from one job to another. I usually work real nose to the grindstone, star worker, everyone loves me for 6 months, and then inevitably something will piss me off to the point I just say, fuck this, and rage quit. And then spend the next 6 months or so living off my savings until I run out of money, and I repeat the cycle. So I'm in the living off, well, not living off my savings now. I got back on the job seeker allowance, but it's not really, like, people who think that living off welfare and never getting a job because you want to be lazy is a thing have no idea what it's like to actually live on a welfare payment. I can't go out with my friends. I can't buy any of the modules I want for DCS. I can't replace any of my broken shit. I basically can't do anything. I can't travel. And it's very hard for me to get a job because I can't afford a car, and if I had one I couldn't afford fuel for it. It's really not in existence. So yeah, I know where you're coming from on that one. I just fucking tail scraped, god damn it. I do feel like something has changed with the MiG-29, or it's changed with my control curves, because I did not pull back very hard there and I still hit the tail. Let's see if the burners work. No. Okay, so I broke the cans. Shit. Oops, I may have just accidentally spammed the wrong button. Feel about options to get into some form of self-employment. This is about as far as I've got on that path. I don't really have many marketable skills. I'm hilariously disorganized. I'm a terrible procrastinator, so I don't think it would work out real well, and then I've got to go through the fucking hassle of getting an ABN and doing all the business side of that shit, and I also am acutely aware of the fact that 90% of small businesses are a joke that shouldn't exist in the first place, and require enormous amounts of government subsidies and tax breaks to even break even, so I have no real illusions about being able to. I know some people can. I know of some people that have done it and have successfully done really well out of it, but I don't think I am that kind of person. I'm just kind of drifting around between jobs trying to find something that either A, I actually enjoy, or B, I can tolerate for more than 6 months. Too fast again. God, my flying today is so bad. Pull a brake in, we'll do an orbit here. Just so I can get rid of some of this speed. That was really hard. But it doesn't matter because we're going to replane anyway since I managed to break this one. One of the other fun things is you can really tell when I've had a bad day because I just go on full tilt for the whole day. Like, that's why I'm flying like shit and I can barely speak. Because when DCS decided it didn't want to work today, I was not happy. And I'm still trying to get past that, so... Fuck it, we'll just go in the grass. I'm gonna replane, so it doesn't matter if I break the gear.
Заруливайте на стоянку.
It helps if I actually switch roll. I swear something is different than my curves though. Because that pull should not have tail scraped. It was not that hard of a pull. Yeah, so I get, like, I have days where it's just shit all day, and today has been kind of one of those, but what I more usually get, and this is what really did me in when I started working longer shifts, so when I first started at my last job, I was working 4-hour shifts, and they were in the morning, and it was great, because I'd wake up, I'd go to work for 4 hours, and my day would be totally free after that 4 hours. It was brilliant. And there's not much that can happen over the space of 4 hours to ruin your day. And if it does, you're going home, like, really soon anyway, so who cares? But as soon as I started getting dumped with 8 and 9 hour shifts because other people weren't turning up or someone fucked up the roster yet again, that was when it started really getting to me, because I would go from one extreme to the other in the space of less than an hour. Like, I could go from, you know, kind of, oh, well, whatever, normal, and then something would set me off, and I'd be in an absolutely vile mood. For half an hour or something, I'd be ready to fucking hit somebody, and then something else would come along, and suddenly I'd be perfectly happy. It gets really exhausting doing that. Really, really exhausting. Especially if it goes, like, you know, 2 or 3 times a day between different extremes. Okay, we've got some trim on. Just gotta start the engines. Trying to get used to contacts at the moment. Oh, yes! Yeah, so I tried contacts in high school. I got these special ones that you only need to change once a month. The reason I got those is because when I tried to put contacts in, I discovered if I put anything anywhere near my eyes, they clamp shut. It took 3 people to get contacts in or out of my eyes, not including me. I had to have someone, like, I was laying on the floor, I had my sister sitting on me so I physically couldn't move and holding my arms down. And then I had my parents each holding one eyelid. And one of them would try and get the contact in or out, whatever was needed. That is how bad my eyes are if anything gets close to them. And then, you know, if it's slipped or something, oh, look out. It was really great when I had them in, except everyone thought I was off my tits because apparently it made my pupils go huge because my eyes were still adjusting to it, but it was frustrating. It was an exercise in patience. It was like half an hour per eye. think I might do one more flight here. I'm getting pretty hungry. I'm also getting pretty tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, which is probably also part of the reason I'm cranky today. I think I got like 4.5 hours of sleep, maybe a bit less. Do you have the L39? No, I don't. The only two-seater I have is a Tomcat. I probably should put a list of which modules I have down in the channel description or something, or have the bot posted in chat. I'll get around to that one day. Okay, both engines up. So I had a really successful first flight where I killed 3 people without even realizing, but we haven't been going so well since. I reckon I would have got that last guy on the previous flight if I had not been trying to be more sparing with my missiles. If I just fired both 73s, I probably would have got him. Or if I'd fired the 77, he would have been dead for sure. I need to get used to carrying R-77s because I usually don't. I tend to forget that they will kill things close in. It's not like the 27 where it doesn't turn very well. The 77 will maneuver really, really well close in. And they're very hard to get rid of at close range. Need to learn to Rio in the Cat one day. I can only fly it. Same here. Yeah, I can only fly it. And not very well at that. I need to spend a lot more time in the Tomcat. Unfortunately, time zones are a hassle because basically all of my Rios are in Europe. I think I got 1 in the US, 1 or 2 in the US, and the rest are all in Europe. I'll be carrying AIM-9s and spam rams, take 77s. I'm taking 2 77s, so I originally stuck with the standard loadout of 4 77s and 2 73s on the MiG-29, but I quickly found that the R-77 is very lacking in range. And that was becoming a problem, and as well as that, once I had an active missile out on someone, it was a giant, hey, there's a MiG-29 here. So the 227 ETs are actually really useful for if I do sneak up on someone, I don't alert them to the fact they're being shot at. And then I do have the 277s when I get in closer, so what I've kind of taken to doing is I'll fire the 27 ET first, and then a second or two later I'll follow it up with the R-77. Which is kind of close to Soviet doctrine, not quite, but kind of close. And then the 73s are obviously if I get in close. And I tend to try and get in close because I'm much better at close range combat if I can at least see where they are. Bit of a disclaimer there, than I am at medium and long range. That's better. No tail strike this time. Don't need to maintain contact. No, they're active, so you can just fire and forget. This will probably be friendly. Yeah. I will say, after flying the F-15 on here, as clueless as I am about the F-15 systems and the way its missiles work, the way that the fucking 120s will get a kill no matter what, really... Like, I was mad enough about 120s when I was flying against them, but when I was actually using them, I fucking killed a dude because he hit me and disabled my aircraft with... Like, I had nothing left except apparently enough electrical control to fire the missiles. I had no HUD, I had no radar, I had nothing. I just blasted them straight off the rail, directly ahead of me where I knew he was, and killed him, because the 120s found him and tracked. they're so hard for me to get away from. I never seem able to dodge a 120. It's probably, like, maybe it's because I'm getting too close, or I guess they probably are launching them in visual mode, so the missile just reacquires me no matter what I do, but it's frustrating as hell. I fucking hate dealing with active missiles of any sort. You know, it's frustrating to get 77 shot at you too. I've had that happen both from enemy when I've been on blue and from teammates. This is why I really wish that there were more servers with weapon restrictions like Blue Flag Caucasus has, but without all the other baggage of Blue Flag Caucasus, because I would play on there a lot. I like working with the older technology. I feel like it makes you a better pilot. It takes more skill. It takes more advanced tactics than just fly at the enemy, pick him up in visual, and yeet like 3 fucking AIM-120s at him, and one of them will kill him. Don't even start me on the Phoenix right now. Oof. Ugh.
300-й, 119-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
Yeah, exactly. You need to know where they are, and with the SPO-15 down here, good luck. You can't see them because they're smokeless, and you can't tell where they are from your RWR because it barely tells you anything about missiles. Only that there's one out, not where it is. The only way I've reliably been able to get away from them is terrain masking, and even then only some of the time. Yeah, but that's a problem. Like, everyone knows that, and because of the way it's broken at the moment and tracks when it shouldn't, they all just get in within like 20-30 miles, fire off all 6, and turn and run. Which is totally absurd, absolutely unrealistic. The missiles will be trashed the second they turn cold. Or, best case scenario for them, the missiles would all try and track the same target when they do, you know, if they launch them in ACM, so they're Mad Dog off the rail, they would track the first thing they see. They wouldn't go, like, there was a, I put it in Pom's chat, I think it was yesterday, I think I might have put it in Torni's as well, it might have just been Pom's, but there's a track view file, or attack view file, sorry, of a guy from Hoggett on this server, flying the F-14, carrying 6 Phoenixes. That's how you can tell someone's going to do this. If they're carrying 4, they might actually be in it, you know, to fight. If they're carrying 6, you know what they're going to do. He flew out from Tbilisi and got over the valley floor, totally in the middle of everything, fired all 6 Phoenixes one after the other, and just turned and ran. And 5 out of those 6 Phoenixes found a target, tracked it, and killed it. 5 out of 6. With no mid-course updates. And from my own experience, when I was flying with Nuts as my Rio on Georgia at War, I killed a fucking F5, a maneuvering F5 at 4 miles with a Phoenix. It jumped off the rail and went like a fucking R-73 and killed it. So that thing is... I mean, the Phoenix is a capable missile, don't get me wrong, but it's capable in ways that don't correspond with what it does in game. It's just far too good right now. It should take some actual planning to use, and it shouldn't be, you know, a sort of instant I win button where you find a group of enemy and just fire all your missiles off and they automatically find something and kill it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the AIM-120 is kind of annoying because you can do that too, but the AIM-120 at least is shorter ranged, and it isn't as fast, so you still have some degree of a chance to get away from a 120 if you know it's coming. Especially if you're over terrain, whereas the Phoenix is so quick that if they get in close, it's actually more dangerous than if it's fired from far away in TWS. That's the other thing too, if you know how to micro him properly, Jester is really good at TWS. I could never get it to work, but he is, if you know what you're doing. I'm gonna go active here, because someone obviously sees me. 260 for 50, okay, I think I got 2 then. At 2,000 odd, it's coming towards me. Get rid of the belly tank in anticipation of combat.
Трехсотый, 119-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 119-й, 300-й. Обнаружена цель.
Holy shit, he's getting close.
Удаление 30 на 2000.
I'd like to know why I can't see him.
Трехсотый,
Pick him up on
119-й.
the
Дайте курс на
electro-optical.
ближайшую
It's
цель.
probably behind a hill, so probably not.
119-й, 300-й. Обнаружена цель. 328.
I think that's a separate contact.
45 на 500. Дистанция не меняется. Трехсотый, 119-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
There we go.
119-й, 300-й. Обнаружена цель. 3-5.
No, he's gonna know that that just got shot at him. Oh, he's trying to terrain mask.
Дистанция не
So
меняется.
go up over the hill. Let go of that. No, he's trashed that one already. Fuck it. Where's he gone? I lost him. Did I get him? Yeah, I got him. Fucking lost him for a minute there, that was scary.
Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор.
119-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
Переведи в набор.
119-й.
032
300-й.
for 35.
Обнаружена цель. 032. Удаление 35. На
Get some speed on and come over here.
Расходитесь.
Someone sees me from behind.
300-й.
It's a very strong
119-й.
signal.
Дайте курс на ближайшую
Someone is
цель.
right behind me, I'm hoping it's friendly.
119-й.
238 for 15, maybe not.
Обнаружена цель. 238. Удаление 15. На 500. Сближайтесь. 300-й. 119-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
No idea where that missile was fired from. 227 for 8.
Обнаружена цель. 227. Удаление 8.
Ah, for fuck's sake. Aim 120. Well, at least I got someone. So we're 4 for 3. Oh, there he is. Holy shit, he was close. When I fly red air on blue flag, PG server is EWR trigger zones or do EWR work realistically? I always get detected flying only a few feet off the deck. I honestly have no idea. I hate working with EWR and blue flag because no one sets it up properly. At least in my experience on there, it's put in the most useless places if it's placed at all. It gives you out-of-date information, which is useless. Yeah, so I don't really play on blue flag, to be honest. And the few times I have, the EWR has been pretty much pointless unless I've been in a flanker, so I've had the data link. When I tried playing on their Cold War server, when they ran that, the MiG-29 with EWR and no human GCI to interpret it is less than useless. I got jumped repeatedly by F5s who could see a lot better than I could see them. So yeah, I can't answer that one unfortunately, but if you ask around someone, probably someone like Helgato might know, because Helgato plays on blue flag a lot. Alright, so I think that's going to be my last flight of the evening. I need some food, I'm starting to get a bit of a headache as well, and you guys are probably tired of watching me flounder about like an idiot. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be flying a little better. I'll be a little more with it, so to speak. Had 101 problems technically today with DCS, and then with well, with DCS generally. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow will go smoother. It seems to be working now, at least. Let's see who else is on. I think I will send you guys over to Shifty, surprise, surprise. He's testing stuff after the patch, so that's probably a good place to send you, actually. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by. Catch you later. I forgot there's a delay on raids. 10,000 IQ. Okay. Should be ready to go in about 10 seconds. Alright, see you later for real this time.